So for the longest time, for a while, I've been thinking about doing this for like, I don't know, a couple of years. I think I've been talking about compiling my personal game of the year for every year of games, right? What we're actually going to go with is not every game every year, but we're going to start with 1977 because there were some games before that, but they were very few and far between. Arcade games, they were very, Pong, Space War, all that shit, So stuff like that, which is good. It's fine. Those games are fine. But I think 77 is really the year that most people, myself included, feel like games really took off. Like that was when the industry sort of started, was with the Atari 2600. I think most people kind of agree with that. But so that's what I'm going to go with. 77 to present. The other day I was on Twitch and I happened to notice that Maximilian was streaming. And he was talking about his favorite game. It said in the description, it's like my favorite games of all time. And he wasn't doing this exactly, like this like idea of game of the year for each year. He wasn't really doing that. He was just like listing his like favorite game, like his all-time top 100 or something like that. The thing that really just made me decide, like, okay, now I really want to do this listing now. The important part isn't that, it's more about the website that he was using. I'd never seen this before until I popped in. And once I saw this website, I was just like, oh yeah, that is what I've been needing this whole time. And it's called topsters.org. It's kind of like the tier list thing, but this is just a list, right? It's just a list. So you can put them in order. Because I don't like compiling any lists on like text-based things. I just don't like doing that because it's like annoying or whatever. But this is perfect for what I want to do. So you can just search up a game. I have a Wikipedia list here that starts with 1977, right? That's what we're going to do, is start with that. Now, obviously, a chunk of these games I wasn't even alive for when they came out. But it doesn't matter. Like, one of the benefits to growing up in like this like working class family was that we always had like older consoles and stuff, right? I didn't realize how old they were. Like, the Genesis and PlayStation was out and I was playing Atari. I didn't realize how old it was. I thought they coexisted simultaneously, right? So I got the benefit of still playing all these games if they were new to me. So I kind of feel like it's just like, it doesn't matter if I wasn't alive when they came out. I still have my favorites from each year. You know what I mean? So that's how we're going to... I mean, if I wasn't there for whatever, I still have my favorite games, and we're going to try to find them per year. We're going to go down the list and kind of look at them. These are they're just my personal picks for my own personal game of the year. It's nothing about trying to be objective or whatever. It's just the ones that were special to me and really had the biggest impact on my experience with playing games over the years, right? Yeah, so let's start. All right, so this is like this. Now this is a list. Now if I go to, there's not many games, right? 1977. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think I've been wanting to do this for so long, and it'll also be like, I don't know. It's kind of nice to have that list of so you can know what your favorites are. It might change sometime in the future if I forget a game that came out the same year and I'm like, fuck, I like that one better than the one. Then I might update it. I might change it. But it's just cool to have that there, because we talk about this stuff. Oh, what's your fucking top 5 horror movies? And and it's like, and on the spot, when you're having these conversations, you can't remember. Well, that's why I like things like Letterboxd so much, is because I have a database for it now that I can actually sort through, right? I love that. But that's how we're going to do this and everything. But and each box is we're going to start with 77, 78, 79, etc., etc. And it's going to be harder to find the game that I might be looking for depending on the year, because obviously more games come out. And once arcade games start getting in, it starts getting into like the 80s, 90s, then it's not just consoles I got to look at. I got to think about arcade games. But let's see if this is kind of accurate, right? So this says 1977. It just said, this is just Wikipedia. We could also Google. Because you can Google games released in 88 and it'll bring up a list, but it's not every game. For 77, I don't think it's that hard for me to pick. Look at this, Zork. That was 1977. Zork came out in 77. That's fucking insane, isn't it? Bro, this is like that's like a classic RPG text adventure. But yeah, out of all these, I was looking at Circus. I think Circus might have been. This is I do like Circus. This game is a lot of fun. Also, Combat though, I have to probably go with Combat because this is a game that, like, obviously famously nowadays is like, I think it's a kind of the butt of a joke, but I can tell you, I can promise you, Combat is a game that, like, I played so much as a kid. My brother and my dad, we played that game like fucking crazy. And that was just one of those early, like, 2-player versus games. Not much to them, you know what I mean? But again, it's 77, so what do you expect? But yeah, Combat was fucking awesome. I actually gotta say, Combat would have been my game of the year for 77 just because of the versus mode and all the different variations, and it's iconic, you know what I mean? I can guarantee you in 77, if you had that, you'd probably play Combat fucking constantly. But I know we still played it all the time in the 90s, so it did something right. We loved it. Frogs. That one, that's a really good one. That's probably Frogs and Flies. Is that the renamed Frogs and Flies? You know, I'm not a huge Space Invaders fan. I was never a big fan of Space Invaders, even like as a little kid. I would play it sometimes, but not a ton. You know, I liked Home Run. That's not a great game, but I used to play Home Run a lot. I'm already thinking of one for early years that I'm going to have to look up to see what year it came out, but I'm not seeing it here. So, yeah, I think this one's pretty easy too. So for 1978, my game of the year was Super Breakout. I love that game. Any game with a paddle with the knob, I just loved those. But I played the Atari version mostly. I'm going to go with that one. Galaxian came out 1979. That's crazy, man. I always think of Galaxian as like 1981 or some shit, 1980, 1981. But Human Cannibal, that is a game I always saw in little booklets we would have. With all my Atari stuff, I had these little booklets and magazines, and I always wanted to try Human Cannibal, but I never owned it back then. I may still not even own that game. Space Invaders Part 2, man. Damn, they pumped this shit out back in the day. All you had to have was like one guy to make a whole ass game, you know what I mean? I'm gonna go with Galaxian. Oh yeah, I do like that game. I prefer the Atari version, but there's nothing wrong with, I mean, all of them. They're all good, you know what I mean? Boom. Bro, that looks like the second album, Don't Look Back, Boston. I think they did that on purpose. Isn't that weird? Fuck, I never thought of that. Look at that. I mean, it's not exact, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think things in the 70s just looked a little too similar. I think that's what it is. Come on. Are you seeing that? Same angle, same little valley and bullshit. I mean, come on, dude. Somebody ripped somebody off. Let's move on. 1980, starting to grow a little bit. Battlezone is fucking insane. That's a first-person tank like shooter game in 1980. Carnival, I love this game. That's a Sega game. That's a great shmup. I do love that one. Missile Command, bro, come on, dude. Bro, are you serious? Are you serial right now? Phoenix. Oh, I love this game. Phoenix. That's a great game, bro. Phoenix is awesome. Wizard of War, fuck, came out in 1980. Oh, there it is. There it is. I knew it was somewhere close. Warlords. Yep. That is the fucking best game, bro. That game is so sick. The competition is pretty fierce here. Wizard of War is a close. That's hard not to want to pick Wizard of War, but dude, I'm sorry. Warlords, if you have never played this game, it's difficult to play the best version, which is the arcade version. All right, the arcade version, it's just, bro, it is the greatest fucking thing, bro. It really is. Yes, so this is it. This is the cabinet, all right? It's a cocktail. It is 4 players, and you have a little knob. Each person in the corner, right, in the corner of the screen has a king, and it has a castle wall, and then you have a king here. See this? And then you have walls here, right? Castle walls. Now this is you have a little knob that controls a shield that goes left and right, and it goes all the way around. A dragon comes out and he spits this fireball out, and it starts going, and you have to bounce it to where it bounces to your opponents, and you're trying to be the last surviving one. So when the wall breaks, once the walls break, if the fireball hits your king, they die and you're out of the game, right? And it gets fast, bro. You can grab the fireball and hold it and like fling it to make it go like super fast, bouncing around. And over time, the dragon will come out, spit another ball out. It is so fucking fun. It is such a good game. And I can't express how dope this game is. Okay, this is the best version of the game too. It's the best version of the game. The sit-down cabinet, like the cocktail sit-down cabinet arcade version. The Atari version is okay, but the problem with the Atari version is that because of its limited hardware, the fireball cannot... He has a very much more predictable way he moves. You know what I'm saying? So it will go fast as shit, bro. And you really gotta throw your like opponents for a loop. See, you grab it, throw it, look at it. It goes nuts. They had one of these at QuakeCon years ago. We went, I think it was in like 2008 when we went to QuakeCon. They had one of these. We sat at that fucking thing, and it was like winner stays, and then 3 would rotate out or something like that. And we sat there and we like fucking nonstop. I mean, hours are going by and we were just playing over and over and over. It's such an amazing game. Easy, like game of the year. 1980, best game. Oh man, I get so hyped thinking about Warlords, just thinking about that game. All right, 1981. Let's just take a look at our list here. Okay, let me just name off a few here. I'm instantly seeing Amadar. Fucking incredible game. Looks like shit. Looks dumb, that cover, but that's a great game. Castle Wolfenstein, the OG. Never been a big fan of I've never liked the arcade cabinet. It's a little too confusing, honestly. I don't like the way it controls. Galaga, that's also a classic. Gorf, the unofficial sequel to Galaga. That is a really cool ass game. Kaboom, oh my god. Bro, come on. You're gonna put Kaboom on the same list as Kicks? Fuck. Yeah, I think it's no contest, right? It's gotta be Kaboom. This is one of my favorite games of all time. It's got to be Kaboom. This is one of my favorite games ever. And fuck, man, I love Kicks, but Kaboom has just got my heart with this one. I think that's a pretty easy win for Kaboom. Kaboom, great game. If you never played it, fucking incredible. They even have the fucking pocket version, which I had. Look at this. Oh my god, I haven't seen that thing in years. Hold on. Oh my fucking lord. I can't believe what I'm looking at right now. I forgot this existed. I can't believe I'm geeking out right now. I had the one that had this thing on it. Yeah, I had the one that had the little like phone wire thing. I can't believe I'm looking at that. I can't believe they have that on there. You think you remember everything when you're a fucking nostalgic dork who spends their whole life trying to acquire everything you had as a kid? You always think that there's nothing else to discover, and then some deep-seated shit like this just fucking blooms out of nowhere, and it blows your mind. I cannot believe I forgot I had that thing. That thing was so sick. Anyway, go to 82. Baby Pac-Man. Look at that pack. That's pretty good. Beat 'em and Eat 'em is on here. Always remember that B-17 bomber because they've... Yeah. B-17 bomber. Yeah, he made that game like nobody fucking talked about that shit before that video. What's crazy is before that video came out, you know, Leroy had bought an Intellivision off of a guy and or somewhere and cheap, and I mean dirt cheap, and he had the voice synthesis module like in box, almost brand new, you know, and he got it for like a couple dollars, you know what I'm saying? And I think he had B-17 bomber. We plugged it in one time to listen to it. Bubbles, that's a great game. I'm a fan of Bubbles, the arcade game. That's a lot of fun. Another one not everybody cares much for. This is E.T. There's E.T. Played a lot of E.T. when I was a kid. Demons to Diamonds is a fucking sick game. That's a dope game. Oh, I guarantee you I found Q's dad's game of the year right here. Miner 2049er. That's got to be his game of the year. You never heard of this game? Yeah, your dad has talked to me about this game. Even the games that I really like from this year are just okay games that I'm like, I like them, but I'm not like mind blown. So it's like, it's funny because like the majority of these games being so like, my game of the year is gonna be something pretty fucking underwhelming just because of, I know I do like Cosmic Arc, but I don't remember exactly every detail of how it plays. Let me look that up real quick. Oh no, this game is fucking sick. I was getting it confused with a different game. I was getting it confused with Atlantis, Satan's fucking Hollow. Dude, sorry, man. Yeah, Cosmic Arc. Sorry, Cosmic Arc. That's not, but no, you are no Satan's Hollow. Yeah, never mind. Cosmic Arc, great game. Satan's Hollow is clearly game of the year for 1982. It might change sometime in the future if I forget a game that came out the same year and I'm like, fuck, I like that one better than the one, then I might update it. I might change it. Okay, I've come to my first mistake that I had made in the process of editing this video and reviewing it. I realized that one of the games that I had in my head when thinking about my all-time games of the year, one of the games that had me on this topic and thinking about, I completely didn't put on the list at all. So I'm going to go back and retroactively fix that now, like I said I would earlier if that happened. So I'm sitting here editing this, and I remember that 1982, I had said Satan's Hollow was my game of the year, and while looking through the list and everything, and I think I didn't realize that there was a whole nother like page with a few left on there, and I forgot one of my favorite games ever, like one of my like probably top 10 ever, Turmoil on Atari 2600. I played that game on stream several times, and it's just one of my all-time favorites I keep coming back to over and over, where you sort of have a ship in the middle of the screen with these multiple like little layers and tunnels on the left and right side where enemies can come out, and you have to attack them and understand that all the enemies have different types of attacks, and some of them have to be shot from only the back, some of them bullets fly through. And while doing this and trying to stay alive as it gets faster and faster and more obstacles come up, you also have to be aware of this sort of orb that will appear at the end of a hallway from time to time that you get bonus points if you take the risk of going down the tunnel to get, because if you wait too long it turns into an enemy and it'll kill you in one hit. But it's very easy for me to confidently say this is my favorite Atari game of all time, just period. And yeah, it was one of those where I think on that one I was struggling a little bit to decide, and I saw Satan's Hollow. I love Satan's Hollow, but didn't even notice Turmoil on that list. And while just trying to get some footage for the video, recording some gameplay footage for the video, I saw Turmoil. And so yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and say that, ignore Satan's Hollow, and I'm gonna put Turmoil in its place instead. That's easily better to me than Satan's Hollow. Turmoil is way better. So yeah, first mistake. Hope it's not. I hope it's the only one, but there was another one I'm a little worried about. I'm going to think about it. By the time we get there, maybe I'll change it. But anyway, yeah. So I knew it would happen. There's too many damn games to look through. All right, back to the list. All right, 1983. Let's have a look here. Ant Attack. Look at that. It's ZX Spectrum games. Congo Bongo. This game is so sick. I love Congo Bongo. That's a great one. Donkey Kong 3. I like Donkey Kong Jr., like regular Donkey Kong Jr. quite a bit. Dragon's Lair, Egomania. This game, dude, I used to play this a lot as a kid. This is a game, I still have my original copy. This is an Atari 2600 game. Atari 2600 game, and it's like basically similar to Kaboom, but I never liked it nearly as much. I never liked it that much. Super Pac-Man. I like Super Pac-Man a lot. I wouldn't say it's my game of the year. Ice Cold Beer. That doesn't count as a video game, does it? It's a mechanical arcade game. If this is a technicality we need to figure out, because let me tell you, if it counts as a fucking video game, that is definitely my game of the year for 83. I mean, Bro, that fucking game, Ice Cold Beer, Up Down in Oklahoma City, where I go often, has one of those. It's like fucking beautiful condition. That game is amazing. That is one of the best games, but it's not a video game. There's nothing video about it. It's a fully like electromechanical game. You know what I mean? Psh, this here is what I was looking for. Juno 1st. This is probably this is it. Kool-Aid Man came out that year. Fuck, I love that game. So many good ones. Oh, Taz came out that year? Dang. It's so crazy, bro. Set music. God, it's a killer song. This is so cool. Just thinking about all these cool games, talking about them, or just... It just, I don't know. It's something. It feels good to just talk about these games. They're so cool. Yeah, I don't think I need to look any further. I think it's going to be Juno 1st. Oh, Zookeeper's on this fucking list, though. Oh, those were the same years. Fuck. Oh my God, that's hard to pick. I love those games. Like, I love both those games equally. Those are two of the dopest games, bro. Oh my God. Zookeeper or Juno 1st? That is such a fucking hard decision. Juno 1st is like one of my favorite games ever, but Zookeeper is just like... That's so hard. That's so fucking hard. That is so hard. I'm thinking so hard about which one I like better. I'm gonna go with... that fucking sucks. I'm gonna have to go with Zookeeper, I think. But Juno 1st is so amazing. I gotta think about the things that I like about both of those games. I'm better at Juno 1st, but bro, fuck man, is it on here? Fuck man, that is the hardest one so far. That is really difficult. I love those both. So in Zookeeper, you have to essentially in Zookeeper, you have these you're Zookeeper, and whenever you walk, you build these brick walls, and there's animals inside of them that you want to keep inside. But to get, like, you're going for a high score, but you get, if they escape, you get points for jumping over them. You get like 100 points for jumping over one, or 500 for jumping over two, and 1,000 for three, or something like that, right? I don't remember the exact points, but so like it's really fun because the idea to get big points, the strategy is to let them out on purpose so that you can jump over all of them to maximize your points. If you're good, that's what you do. It gets hard because if they touch you, you die, and then you get at a certain point in the stage, you'll get a net for a short amount of time, and you want to like usher them back in. So it's a really good game. But Juno 1st is like on a sort of three-dimensional plane, and it's a shooting game that you can go back and forth. Like you can go forward and you can go backward. So you can like space out. You always have to be like spacing out, but you can run into, because the like map loops. So if you back up too much, you can run into enemies, you know, that are coming. It's so, fuck, they're both so good. I like Juno 1st better. I'm gonna just, I have to admit it. I have to admit it to myself. Juno 1st is a better game, I think. Okay, 1984. Wait till we get to iRobot. When the fuck did that come out? 84. Well, fuck, we may have found my game of the year for 84. Flicky. Oh no, Flicky came out in 84. Fuck, that's gonna be hard to decide. Might have to go with Flicky on this one. Damn, is something gonna beat out Flicky? That's one of my favorite games. But now that I'm looking at iRobot, it came out the same year. I can only pick one. Ooh, Marble Madness. Fuck, that's another great game. I can't not give it to Flicky. I fucking love Flicky. That game is pretty fucking amazing, dude. Boom. You play as the bird. You're trying to save the chicks from the cat. They follow you, and you have to avoid them. You can pick up items to throw at the cats, but you're trying to get them all in the exit here, right? Or one of the two exits, these chicks. If the cats touch you, you're dead. If they touch the chicks, they will unlink from you. Okay? You remember me playing? See how I played this one. And that's the idea. You see the score multiplier? You want to get as many in the exit at one time as you can. That's the trick to getting your points maximized. This is a fantastic game. And the stages change every single time too. So you have to really learn the pattern here. I love this game so much. This is one of my favorite games. Bro, it's so fun. 1985. Let's go down the list here, see what's coming out. So the NES is now out at this point, like full force. So there's a lot of shit coming out for the NES. Deja Vu came out. That game is sick. Not as sick as Uninvited though. Gunsmoke came out that year. Dude, see, this is we're gonna start getting into the arcade games that I fucking adore. Romance of the Three Kingdoms, the first one, came out that year, 1985. Man, when I say Gauntlet and Hang On, fuck, that's tough. I like Super Hang On way better. The first one's okay, but I prefer, but yeah, Super Hang On's the one I'm talking about. So honestly, Super Hang On will probably be that game of the year. So, and that being said, Gauntlet is going to have to end up taking it then. It's right there. It says Gauntlet, but that's not really the arcade version. Gauntlet, fucking great game. 4-player, sort of like the fantasy that I like, where it's not too in-depth. It's kind of arcadey, labyrinthy. It's just a fun time, bro, especially with 4 friends or 3 friends, you know, whatever. You get all 4 of you together. It's just so much fun. 1986. All right, take a look. Arkanoid. I'm gonna have to say Arkanoid already. I don't even think I need to look any further. Castlevania 1 came out that year. Fuck, are you serious? It's gonna be Castlevania. I mean, there's some great games on this list. If I could just really quick, I'll just say name off a few recommendations if anybody wants to play some fucking good shit. Bubble Bobble is, oh man, what a fucking year, dude. One of the best 2-player games of all time. Easy, hands down. Ikari Warriors, that's a great game in the arcade. The console versions aren't great. Contra, fucking amazing game. I mean, come on, dude. Outrun came out that year. Fuck, man. Are you kidding? Dude, Outrun is, oh, fuck, it's so hard. Like, Side Pocket this game, bro. My dad and my brother rented Side Pocket all the time. I would watch them play this fucking pool game. They'd rent it on NES. It's one of their games that they would, I got it right over here, this Side Pocket. The way they rent this all the fucking time. I mean, it's got to be Castlevania. If it wasn't Castlevania, it would be Outrun, probably. Outrun is just one of the fucking my favorite games. That's a amazing racing game. It's another blissful just Sega racing game. So good, but it has to be Castlevania. I can't like get over. I mean, it's my favorite series of all time. It's the best, like, it's one of the best, arguably I say this all the time. It's arguably the only like perfect Castlevania. It's the only like one that just has the way everything is so intentional in that game. It's a masterpiece. So we're going to 87. Bionic Commando. Damn, that came out. Bro, that's a great game. Double Dragon. Dang, man. Some bangers came out this year. Master System. Galaga 88. Damn, that's a good game. Phantasy Star, the first one. Oh, man. I love that game. It's not often I get into a turn-based RPG, but I really liked Phantasy Star. Rad Racer, that is a fucking great racing game. That's one of my I think that's my dad's favorite game of all time. I would watch him play. Well, we'd play together, but he would get so fucking salty at that game. Gamer rage is not a new phenomenon by any means. My dad was fucking screaming and cussing and throwing shit over this game back in the fucking 90s, dude. Ys 1. Oh, fuck. Zelda 2 Adventures of Link, man. I love that game. I love Zelda 2. That's an underrated game. It's such a misunderstood game. I think it really is. Galaga 88's amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Ys 1. All right, 88. Bio Miracle Baby. Oh, dude, this game is awesome. I did a 4-part episode of Portal Pals on this game. Oh, the Black Bass. I mean, let me look at the rest of what we got on here. You guys know I love Black Bass. I mean, come on. Next, he made me a whole freaking English translated one of the sequel. That'd be a really interesting thing. I'll keep that in mind. Oh, there it is. It's done. Right here. Guardian Legend. It's done. That was 88. I forget. That's my favorite NES game. One of my favorite games of all time. I don't have to look at the rest of the list. I don't even have to. What the fuck is that? The Guardian Legend is essentially it's a sci-fi game that's got like a universe, like lore, which I like a lot, you know? And I like when that lore is just, you get a snippet of it, but that's it. You are this android woman who can transform into a spaceship, and your job is to go to this planet, and otherwise it's gonna fucking destroy Earth, right? And basically the way the gameplay is the gameplay is a split. It's a hybrid game. Half of the game is like Zelda, where it's a top down, but you can move in 8 directions, not 4. and you're shooting like top down. You shoot enemies and you move around in labyrinth. And you have dungeons just like in Zelda. But the dungeons in this game are shmups, shoot 'em up stage. You have to go into a shmup stage where you have boss fights and bullet hell shit. It's incredible. It is such a great game. It's so fucking good. Batman the video game. Caliber 50. That's a good game. Dino Wars is an underrated game. That's fun. Fantastic World of Dizzy. I love that game a lot. Dizzy deserves to be hard-boiled. Hey! That ain't nice, man. Dizzy is a cute little guy. Ain't nothing. He never done anything wrong to nobody. That's the shit he's been through. He already is hard-boiled. Trust me. Dragon Spirit's pretty good. That's a good shoot 'em up game. Golden Axe. Oh man, banger. Hard driving. I love hard driving. Not game of the year material. Street Rod. Oh my god, dude. James got me hooked on this game. Street Rod. This is a fucking DOS game where you do like races, street races. You look in the newspaper and buy a used car. You have to work on it, and then you race people around town and shit. And eventually you race for pink slip stuff. It's a DOS game. It's sick. Not to sound, I hate to sound cliche and do it immediately another Castlevania, but 3 is my favorite Castlevania. I think it's the best one. You're not going to see Castlevania every single year, so don't worry. That's not going to happen. But 3 is my all-time favorite Castlevania game, so it's got to go there, right? All right, 1990. There's a lot of games on this list. I got to say, I'm impressed. I like Castlevania Judgment actually, but those other ones you said, Lords of Shadow 1 and 2, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. That's all I got to say. I don't even know what those are. Lords of what? Who? 1 and huh? I don't know about that. Adventures of Lolo Part 2 and 3. The Lolo games are really good. Adventures of Lolo are great puzzle games. Really good shit if you like puzzle. Die Hard on NES. I love that game. Not good, but I love it. Look at this. Hot chocolate. That fucking whip is hand whip, brother. Oh, Kabuki Quantum Fighter. That game is so sick. Marvel Land. This is a great game. Underrated as hell. Nobody ever talks about Marvel Land. And no, Phantom. It's not that kind of Marvel, you dork. Star Cruiser. That's it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Star Cruiser is easily. Yeah. That game blew my mind. It's got to be Star Cruiser. I mean, come on though. I mean, like, what do I do? I've been playing Ninja Gaiden 2 my whole life. It's it's my favorite Ninja Gaiden games. I love it. Such a great game. But Star Cruiser, if I had played that back then, that would have fucking blew my balls off. The first Star Cruiser was insane. Like, I'm gonna have to do it. That was instantly became one of my favorite games. Just a fucking classic. I'll tell you what. Here's a good example is the fact that I don't have emotes of fucking Ninja Gaiden 2. I have emotes of Star Cruiser. And not just emotes of Star Cruiser. I have, count them, 1, 2, 3 emotes of Star Cruiser. So, I mean, I think it speaks for itself. You know what I mean? All right. Next. 91. Oh, well, look at this. I think it's obvious what this one is. Isn't that crazy to think Star Cruiser? You know those graphics and shit that we were talking about? Star Cruiser and all that shit? Like, Battletoads came out after Star Cruiser. Think about that. Put that into perspective, what this game was fucking doing, guys. Full 3D, like, semi-open world space travel and all that first person. Before Battletoads even came out. Isn't that crazy? I would fight you if you picked anything else in Battletoads. That's true. You know how important that game is to me. Liz has seen me like play Battletoads to fucking like to cheer me up, you know, just like I play it to fucking just feel better. It's a very important game to me. All right, 92. Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder. That is one of the fucking greatest beat 'em ups of all time, bro. Only in arcade. Never had a home release though. You have to go to an arcade to play it or play a MAME emulator or something or Fightcade. Flashback. That's a fucking amazing game. This is in the running. Flashback: The Quest for Identity. Fucking goated game, dude. Amazing. Bro, Mortal Kombat. My very first fighting game. Kind of an important one, but I'm not gonna, Master of Darkness is a great game. Master System Castlevania clone. Ninja Gaiden. That's the Master System Ninja Gaiden. Very good. I'm seeing a couple things. Pocky and Rocky, my favorite Super Nintendo game ever. In fact, it's one of 5, 6, 7 games I own for the Super Nintendo. But I actually prefer Pocky and Rocky Part 2. That's my favorite one. I saw Flashback in there. That's a really important game too that I love so much, whatever. But you see this? I can't. It's done. Streets of Rage 2 came out this year, and that's like... I'm a Genesis kid, so I can't like not have that as my game of the year, man. I mean, it's fucking one of the best games ever, right? It kind of just wins by default. It can't, man. And nothing else can beat it. Okay, 93. Go to 93. Cannon Fodder. Oh my god, that game is a dude. That might be the game I make Phantom play next. That is one of the best fucking games ever. Gauntlet 4 is like one of the best gauntlets. Like, it has a quest mode and it's really good. The quest mode, bro, basically turns the game into like not as arcadey, but not super RPG-ish. Right in the middle. Perfect blend. 4 players, you can save your game. It's a big castle you got to go to. Bro, you can have equipment and you get money. You get different spells to upgrade your characters. It's something I always wanted in Gauntlet because I like how it plays, but it was a little too just arcadey. And that's one of my favorite parts about it. That's what makes it so good. Mortal Kombat 2 came out that year. Very big, very important game. NBA Jam, dang, bro, this is getting hard. Outrun 2019, I love this game. This is a game in the Outrun series, but it's futuristic and stuff. It's a great game. Another one, not a lot of people talk about, it seems like, but it's really fun. But see, I didn't get super into NBA Jam until Tournament Edition came out. I played NBA Jam, but I got like super into it when Tournament Edition came out. Mortal Kombat 2 was quite a big deal game for me to play. I didn't get like obsessed with fighting games, and like at this point, I remember my brother loved to. He was really good at it, but I didn't get like to where I played 1 and 2 a lot, but 3 was when I like learned how to play. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna go a little mixed on here. I love Virtua Fighter, but I like Virtua Fighter 2 way better. And at that time, it would have been Mortal Kombat 2 at that time. So I'm gonna have to go with Mortal Kombat 2. We're gonna start seeing more fighting games probably, I bet. All right, 94. Cotton. I instantly saw Cotton. That's a great one. Contra Hardcores, that's in the running. Donkey Kong Country. Oh, Donkey Kong Country. Yeah, that's a good one. I played the shit out of that at my buddy's house. I think most people would probably say Doom 2 would be the game of the year. But, you know, Dynamite Headdy. Oh no, Dynamite Headdy, and Echo, the Tides of Time. Shit. Here's the thing. We're in the sort of era now where I'm like, I'm remembering being there. Like, I'm remembering now, like, these games coming out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm starting to get to that point where I remember getting them when they were new. Earthbound, which I'm like, yeah, whatever. I think it's kind of overrated. This was my first Sega Genesis game. That was my very first game I got for Christmas. My cousin told me it was X-Men, and I was all fucking hyped because X-Men on Genesis is sick.
Where you getting all this money?
Please, never mind.
Bro.
We really should have gotten a business manager a lot sooner, dear.
Hey, thanks for the
Marty
$5.
Rules donated $5.
There got to be something people would want to say
Thanks awfully,
stupid
darling.
shit on. What are you guys just hype about Shaq Fu? Do you guys know that Shaq Fu came with a CD that was a single of Shaquille O'Neal's rap career? He had a single. Oh, and Jen with the follow. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. But I came with a CD and I got it taken away from me. My dad, it was like my dad that took it away. The reasoning was like, because he said damn. I think he says hot damn in it at the time. I think my dad took it away. But what it really was that it was rap. That was it. And that's literally fucking the only, it didn't need to have to swear. If it was rap music and that was enough for him to take it away from me. Joke's on him. That just made me want to listen to it more. Oh shit. Pocky and Rocky 2. If I'm being real though, my fucking game of the year that year, like I lived it, was fucking Echo 2, The Tides of Time. It was my second Genesis game I ever got, and I was obsessed with that game. That shit is a fucking fantastic game. underrated a lot because the first one was rough, not great. And I think a lot of people never played the second one, and the second one is a beautiful game, amazing game. You know, it is stacked. And honestly, you know, I love Virtua Fighter 2, Hockey and Rocky 2 are favorites, but this one in particular, I am right back there right now, remembering how important of a game that was to me, and how like it wasn't just that I loved the game or whatever, but it was like it was at a time when you got one fucking game a year, and that was like, and I mean I rented games, you know what I mean, bro? I mean I would rent games all the time, but Echo, the reason I like wanted a Genesis in the first place is because like my earliest memory was seeing at a video store the Genesis when it first came out, showing it off on a TV. They had it like hooked up or something, and that my earliest memory was seeing the first Echo, being some kids were playing or something. That was my earliest memory. And then later on, I had a buddy right after my brother's friend brought over his Sega Genesis over to our house once. That's when I first played Mortal Kombat 1 and Sonic 1. Shortly after that, I had a friend who got, because I got my Genesis late, he had this. And when I played that, I was like, I have to get a Genesis. That's it. 95. This should be easy. Castlevania Dracula X. No. Comic Zone. Damn. Yeah, that might be it. Comic Zone is amazing. Echo Jr. I rented that once and was disappointed because I was playing the second one so much. That was like a really baby game. Garfield Caught in the Act. I actually love this game. Fighting Vipers, though, came out in 95. And that is an incredible game. Oh, look. 95. Ultimate MK3. Yep, that's it. That right there, the game that shaped me into being a fucking fighting game, like FGC, like nerd, that was it. That was the one that did it to me. I got that on I mean, we got to play it in the arcade. Like I said, that thing was everywhere in the arcades around us. Like they all had one. It was such a big deal, bro. And all I had was the Genesis. That was the newest console I had. I couldn't believe that came out on Genesis. And the best thing about, like back then, the Genesis port and the home ports were nothing compared to the arcade. Not even close, right? Like quality visual wise. But you could learn how to play. You could learn moves, and you could learn how to do combos and do stuff, you know, at home. And then you could play at the arcade and you know it, because it wasn't that much different, to the sense that you couldn't just teach yourself how to play. Mortal Kombat 2 was when I started. Like I would put the timer on infinite, and then I would plug it into second player and just leave the second player standing there, and I could practice stuff. It was like the most primitive fucking training mode you could do, but that's how I did it. And that's how I would do on Mortal Kombat 3. I would do that until I got combos down. And my brother, that was when my brother really started teaching me how to play fighting games. He would teach me fundamentals and stuff in a way, but he would teach me how to like block punish. And I don't even know, like it wasn't even, he would just teach me that shit. He would like do the same move over and over and over and over. And once I got down how to like it would be like, I mean, you understand how fucking old I am. I am a child, right? I would say, I don't want to give away how old I was. I was a fucking kid, a child, right? And at that extremely young single digit years, bro, he's teaching me this stuff. How he's just like, okay, I'm gonna do scorpions like teleport, all right? Block it and then do like punish it. And we would do this over and over. And then he'd start doing other moves and throw it in there. And he would keep throwing it in there. And it was like, to get me to just always block that. He did that shit with me, you know? And that's how I got like really good at these at that age. None of my friends played the games like that. None of them did. Teenagers at that time did, but none of the kids my age. I fucking bodied all the people my age. It was insane. Like, but yeah, that game, I got that on Genesis and we wore that fucking thing out. That was the only game we played day in and day out, every fucking day, constantly, over and over and over and over. But I could go to the arcade and play. And when I would go to the arcade, or it would be like I said, the local ones around town or whatever, I could play because I knew how to do it. I knew the buttons and I would play like that. The Genesis 6-button controller, my brother bought 2 6-button controllers. They were set up like most arcades where it was like 6-button, and yeah, I could transfer it over. And that's how I started playing more. When I'd go to an arcade and play it, I'd know how to play, and I could just play it there too. It was so sick, man. That has to be it. All right, 96. We'll try to knock some out. We'll try to knock some out. I won't talk as much. Mega Man 8. Yeah, you're right. Mega Man 2, the Power Fighters. They got that at Maniacs Mansion too. Mega Man 8 is the game that made me a fan of the series. It's also the first one I played. I have that. Yeah, I got it right here. Boom! Look at him on the back. He's going, what am I fighting for? I'm just trying to think, man. See, I was still on the Genesis at this point. I want you to like take that into consideration. The 64, Super Mario 64 was out. I was still playing the Genesis. I had not moved on. I hadn't bought a Saturn, a PlayStation, none of that. I was still playing the Genesis. I fucking loved the Genesis that much. I literally played the Genesis till its dying breath. And what I mean by that is the last game to be released in the US, like commercial retail game, I bought that fucking thing new. That's how long I was playing the Genesis. It was Frogger, by the way. I bought Frogger. It's around the time the PlayStation version came out and they released that one. So I hate to do this because I'm going to have to put this one as my game of the year. But I'm just being honest. And I know motherfuckers think I'm crazy for doing this, but oh, Vector Man 2, fuck off. I love that game. No, I can't. I got too many memories with this one. This game has Alpha 2, or this year has Alpha 2. It has Vector Man 2, fucking, Vandal Hearts. We got Super Mario 64, Resident Evil, but I'm just being honest. I'm sorry. This is just my personal game of the year. I hate to do this, but I'm just being fucking real. I'm just being honest. This was my that was my favorite game. Bro, my friends and I fucking upset. We loved that game. We were so hype about that. Again, I had not moved on from the Genesis, so you gotta understand. So 97. I already know what this one's gonna be. Not sorry, we're not gonna look through this one very long. Easy. 98. Boom. Bro, let's move on. See what all we got now. This is where they were really, I think this is one of my favorite eras of like arcade games, was the mid to late 90s. There were so many great arcade games. Biofreaks. I had this on fucking 64. Deep Fear. Saturn. Resident Evil clone type game. Hey, there's Blasto. Wait, wasn't Blasto there? Yeah, Blasto. There he is. Look at that guy. He's fucking funny as hell looking. That big ass torso. Jeez. Gauntlet Legends. Gauntlet Legends was amazing. Hey You Pikachu. I got that for Christmas. That game did not work. Isn't that crazy? Got that thing for Christmas and the fucker didn't even work, bro. What the fuck's up with that? They just knew I liked Pokemon, so they got me Hey You Pikachu, and it didn't work. And unfortunately, my cousin, he got Tony Hawk. And so I got a game that didn't work, and he got a fucking goated ass game. That's how it would usually go. I got Shaq Fu, he got Streets of Rage. I got Hey You Pikachu, he got Tony Hawk. That's how it would go every fucking year. Uh-huh. I didn't get enough of Oddworld, honestly. So the next year, this would have been my game of the year too, the sequel. I liked Abe's Exodus better than the first one. So, bro, I like that game way better than the first one. 99, I already know what this one's going to be. NFL Blitz 2000, easily my game of the year. My best friend and I, his name was Patrick. We fucking ate and breathed and sleep that game, dude. Like, we lived it. Like, that game, when he got that shit on 64, dude, we fucking just played the dog shit out of that game. It was insane. Wait a minute. 99. Fuck. The same year, you motherfucker. I'm gonna have to go with Blitz. Rayman 2, I think, is the best 3D platformer ever, in my opinion. It's the best 3D platformer. But NFL Blitz 2000, just like, we played that so much. It was like such an important game to me and my friends, you know what I mean? That was our ritual, dude. We played it constantly. His name was Patrick, and I'd go to his house and we'd eat like these homemade tortilla like chips that his mom would make, and we'd fucking play that like all night. But Rayman 2 is so special to me though. That was my first N64 game. Probably NFL Blitz. Yep.